help us understand dyslexia and clear up common misconceptions is Angela Panis. She's principal and play therapist from the Adonijah group of schools. We're also going to take a look at a special pen that can assist students with dyslexia during their upcoming CSEC exams. It's so good to have you, Angela. Good morning.
Good morning, Angela. How are you?
Thank you for having me. I'm nervous.
Nervous? Nothing wrong with that. No, nerves good sometimes, man. Well, let me give you a simple one. What is dyslexia?
So dyslexia is a neurological condition. It's a specific learning disability in reading, writing, and spelling.
And that's the only area that there is, what's the word I want? Oh, that there is a difference?
Yes, so we have other specific learning disabilities, including dysgraphia, that's disability with writing, and dyscalculia, difficulties with math specifically. But dyslexia has to do with the way the brain processes written language.
All right, so you've already said it's a learning disability, but what are some of the biggest misconceptions that people have about dyslexia?
Yeah, so persons still have misconceptions about dyslexia in the way that they think persons with it are slow learners. They think that the only trait is that they see and read words and sentences backwards. They think that they have low intelligence or don't learn as fast as their peers. And persons will also think that this is something that they can get later on in life, which is not true because dyslexia is hereditary, meaning that it runs in families. So
really?
This is something in the brain, something that persons will be born with and struggle with later on in life, even as they improve their reading skills.
But if they have issues with reading and writing, would they not naturally be a slower learner than someone who doesn't?
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Yeah, because with dyslexia, the main barrier is access to print text, or the way that words are on paper or on screen. But
once they process the words, they're okay.
Yeah, so their thinking ability, their reasoning usually is about the same as typical persons, or sometimes even greater than the average person. But again, the challenge is with reading the text on paper or on screen.
Angela, you just raised something very important for me because I had no idea that it could be hereditary. And so sometimes people will say, oh, you don't like your mother, you don't like your father, not knowing that there was a learning disability that had come down. How important is diagnosis then?
Yeah, so early identification, we can screen and identify traits as early as age 3 to 5 in preschool, but usually a formal diagnosis can be made at around age 7, between grades 2 to 3, when reading demands increase in the class, and then teachers are now able to say, wow, something could really be, something that we need
So
to
if someone comes to you and it is proven that they have dyslexia before they even reach you, so we know that that person has dyslexia, what's the first thing you do?
So the first thing we do is to look at the person's profile. What are their specific needs? Because dyslexia is not a one-size-fits-all. We may have persons who may need, very mild support, and we have those who may need more intensive support. We have tools to help with reading instruction and developing reading skills, and we have tools to also help and develop independence and access to text. So we may have persons who could benefit from multisensory strategies. These are reading guide strips. What these do is normally they reduce visual clutter and allow for persons to focus on the text or sentences that they're reading. And these over time, with consistent
show me how it
use,
works, please.
With consistent use, they can, develop even their self-esteem with their reading. So here,
just hold it to that camera right there. Hold it to that camera. Yeah.
we have, so rather than just seeing all of the words on paper, we can reduce visual clutter. And you kind of
What
helps
about
with
what you
visual
said earlier, that
tracking.
some people think you have to read from the next way, go back? That don't make no sense at all?
We can also use multisensory strategies. So even, especially for early learners, where we have to work on developing their phonics skills, their how well they're able to recognize that, okay, A means A and B is B, and how well they're able to put those sounds together. So it is a mixture of all of those things, because then later on we'll also look at the reading pen, which is not necessarily to develop reading skills, although it can, but the main purpose is for it to serve as a tool of independence.
That's a reading pen in your hand there?
So I have a reading assistive pen here, and what it does is convert the print text into digital
Audio.
format,
Digital,
and it reads it aloud. So it's a text-to-speech tool.
So what you do is like you take a picture of it, or what do you do with it?
We can take a picture of the text on paper, and we can also scan. So here is an example.
Okay, and it comes up on that.
And
then
it
you
reads
can
it
play the
aloud.
audio.
Not sure why this.
Non-dyslexia.
Okay, so the reading speed is at low, but we can increase the reading speed. But as you see, it reads the print text aloud.
Yeah, do it again and see if we can get a full sentence out of this thing.
Okay.
If possible, yeah.
Okay.
Dyslexia-friendly fonts enhance readability by reducing visual crowding, confusion, and
Okay. Can it be cured? Can I get rid of dyslexia?
So again, dyslexia is a lifelong condition. Even as persons improve their reading, they will continue to experience challenges even into adulthood. So with dyslexia, the purpose is for us to be able to manage it effectively. What are the right tools? What are the right supports? And the positive coping strategies that we can help individuals develop, because these are persons that will go through their secondary, their tertiary schooling, even their professional careers.
How do you balance it, Angela? Because you want to be able to place them in an environment that is supportive of the challenges they have, but you also want to place them in an environment where they don't feel left out. You know, you don't want to, how do you balance it so that the child doesn't feel like I'm not in that class because I'm not as bright as the others, when that's not the issue?
Yeah, that's very important, because what we're moving towards now is we're moving from early identification to practical inclusion of students. So a lot of the times, Adonijah also offers assessment services, and we have persons who will come in for assessments so that they can receive accommodations in examinations like CSEC. However, it can feel isolating for these students, because they would be receiving accommodations that they weren't previously receiving in their day-to-day learning. So put it this way, a child needs reading glasses to access their examinations, but they haven't been using the reading glasses in the classroom. So there is that gap in terms of the support that we give to these individuals. So what we're trying to do through Adonijah, we're trying to put in place a pilot initiative for assistive reading technology, and how we can support individuals with dyslexia in the secondary school, preparing for CSEC examinations,
Something
and
with
even in
UTech.
university.
Something with UTech that you're
Yes,
doing.
so we are collaborating with the Special Needs Center at UTech to see how best we can balance support and feasibility, because we also will have to look at the validity of these technology for exam use.
Yeah, you already said it's a lifelong, I don't know what is it called? It's not an illness, is it? What is it called?
Learning disability.
Learning disability. But can someone get to the point without I mean, having used all what you've brought, can they get to the point that they don't need that anymore and they can just go through it and you don't even realize that they're dyslexics?
I believe that they can, especially if we put these things in place early on and we ensure that we are maintaining these individuals' dignity and developing their confidence and self-esteem. Because as I said, along with improving reading skills and providing these tools, we also want to ensure that they feel like they can be independent and even request for assistance maybe in the workplace without feeling the shame to ask for that.
I'm told that Anderson Cooper is dyslexic. How does someone find Adonijah?
We are at 102A Waltham Park Road, Kingston 10. And we are an assessment and therapy center. We also cater to children, early childhood age and primary prep school.
Okay, beautiful.
Excellent.
Thanks.
Yes,
You don't nervous no more.
You made it so comfortable for me.
Very well explained. Very well explained.
Thank you.
So
I'm
very
glad.
much. Angela Panis, principal and play therapist from the Adonijah Group of Schools. 10 minutes to your health. We'll do it again next Thursday. So when we come back, she will look at some fashion hacks. So come.